I myself, I gravitate towards the originals. I always like to have all the materials. So does Lance. We like to play the games on the original systems and have them in the original packaging and just have that experience replicate as well as we possibly can. You know, because we're prone to nostalgia a little bit. But now with the advent of Xbox Live and Sony's burgeoning downloadable service and the Wii even having the virtual console, do you see classic gaming and retro gaming to move more towards new forms of mediums for them to be used, or do you see classic gaming in terms of collecting slowing down in any way?
That's a good question. You know what? People have asked this to me many times too. Like, just specifically with the store, like, do you think your business is going to suffer because people can now go on Virtual Console and download the games? I really think that there's two different kinds of people. I mean, there's the kind of people like you who want a physical copy of the game. They want to be able to play the original on their original controller, on their original TV set, you know. And then there are people who don't mind playing emulators, who just want to play the game for a minute just to see what it was like back then. I really do think that they're two different animals. Now, you can cross into both of those territories. You can definitely be a person who collects the games but also does the Virtual Console thing because it's more convenient. It might be more convenient for you to play your play your game on a 360 than to bust out the Nintendo. But if you're a collector at heart, if you're a person that wants that physical thing, I don't think any kind of Virtual Console or emulation is ever going to cut it for you.
Classic gaming has become more mainstream thing. I mean, more people I see are into it. More people I bring around my place or go by Lance's place. We throw our own parties, and they end up being people are very excited about it. Right. With the success, seeing that maybe the Virtual Console won't curb any of that growth, do you see yourself in the future possibly franchising the name Digital Press out to other independent store owners, or have you thought about maybe opening new stores on your own?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I want to do franchising. I definitely welcome people who are interested in picking up the Digital Press tag as a store startup. I've been working on that process already, and it was part of a 5-year plan to get somewhat of a franchise going.
Well, that's fantastic. I wish you the best of luck. And Joe, it was great to meet you and talk to you.
Same here.
And we're going to be around here for the rest of the day. We'll be back and we'll be interviewing other people. And Joe, thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks for the store. So, John, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm 41, big collector, mainly Atari stuff. I'm the original founder of Classic Gaming Expo. I've known Joe for 10-something plus years. Worked with Digital Press. Writing for the magazine, and also, involved in the website.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you, for the Classic Gaming Expo, how many of those have you done so far?
Well, this will be our 10th year. We've done 9 shows. We took off last year. First show was World of Atari in '98. We changed it to Classic Gaming Expo in '99, and this, 2007. It's our 10-year anniversary show.
So you see it grow every year. It gets larger, more sponsorship and vendors come out?
We did. As far as number of people attending the show, it's kind of peaked because it's a niche show. So we've resigned ourselves to the fact that it's never going to grow more than that, 1,500 to 1,700 range. We don't think. But that's where we've pretty much leveled off. But we're happy with that. If we can get that every year, we understand it's a niche market.
So when did you start really getting into games? I mean, I assume because you're a big Atari fan, it started with, like everybody, it started with Atari for the most part.
I had the 2600. I sold my 2600 to buy a 5200. A friend of mine got me into the 8-bit computer, which I still believe is, if not the best game machine out there for the classic era. I didn't really get into collecting until maybe about 1989. So that's about 18 years now. It's been a while, but I used it for many years before I actually started saying, hey, let me start buying prototypes and all this other rare stuff that I could collect.
So how do you feel about the Atari 5200? Do you have any particular Atari 5200 controller-related horror stories? Because that's a question I always ask. That was my system I started with.
Yeah, the 5200 obviously has some issues. Early on, I got a master play interface, which lets you use the 2600 controllers. And I've explored different things. I hooked up with the creator of the 5200 controller called a StarCon, and it was like an arcade stick for the 5200. I managed to get hold of one of those, and that gentleman, once I touched base with him, he eventually got the idea to start making them again. I think he did sell some online, but there are some good alternatives out there. I think there's some homebrew stuff that's out there, but obviously 5200 controllers by themselves are horrible, you know. I know,
I've gotten a few of the gold connector sets to try to get them to work right again.
Fixing them. They go bad just by sitting there. You don't even have to use them. They just go bad from time, you know.
Any open hole in your collection you're looking to fill at some point soon?
Well, there's always room, you know, because there's stuff out there that we don't even know exists. You know, I've got a pretty good sized collection as far as like say 2600. You know, there are obvious games I'm missing that, you know, the only way I'm going to get them is to pay big bucks. So I've kind of moved on to memorabilia. And, you know, things with the Atari name. And, you know, you'd be amazed at ashtrays and Frisbees and an Atari Olympics soccer team banner I've just recently got. So, you know, there's always something showing up on eBay. eBay is great for that because people throw stuff up there and it's, you know, like, wow, I didn't even know that existed. And you have a chance to buy it.
So how do you feel about NAVA?
I think NAVA is a great place for different collectors to come and trade stuff that they don't already have, and this store in general has a ton of stuff that you would never find at a GameStop or a Toys R Us or Best Buy.
And so how many NAVA meetings have you been to?
I've only been to about 7 or 8. I live about 2 hours away, so it's a little tough for me to get here every month, but I try to make it.
And what are some really key items that you've come across while being here at NAVA?
I found a new in-box Pro Action Replay for NES. I traded a couple Xbox games for. I've come across some uncommon Nintendo games and uncommon 2600 games, and a lot of promo items. A lot of people have promo items that you would never find anywhere else unless you pre-ordered a game or something like that.
So AJ, tell us a little bit about yourself, about why you're here tonight and how you feel about digital press and classic game collecting in general.
All right. I started collecting probably 4 years ago and jumped feet first and went hog wild. I probably have about 8,000 games now and 25 systems, so this place is sweet.
So have you been coming to NAVA a lot over the past 4 or 5 years or so?
No, it's only been about a year and a half since the store opened. I helped him put the store together when he first opened the store. Put together the gaming system, the LAN system for him. I did all the computers back there, so kind of a little bit more hands-on.
Is there any part of your collection that you really focus on, any particular system that you really like?
No, I jump around. I usually get something that really excites me, and I'll go crazy on that for a couple months and just knock it out. I just completed my Odyssey 2 collection. I have a full set of that. So
I really have to say, you know, that store is great. I had a good time. You know, it's fairly easy to get to. It's, you know, being in Jersey is probably my own complaint because, you know, us being in Connecticut, you do have to make a little trek, but it's definitely worth the distance.
Oh yeah, the people there are great. The prices are amazing. Everyone there is a fan of games and game collecting. So I mean, you show up, spend an hour, talk to a couple people, take a look at all the merchandise. He has a little museum of rare materials and prototypes. That is cool. And you have the arcade units to just, you know, play some old Neo Geo titles or anything you want. Well, that concludes our first episode of Retroware TV. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be coming back soon with a new episode. We might work out a few kinks, might take a few suggestions from the forum on retrowaretv.com. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks.
What?